I'm the General Counsel of the Canadian Free Speech League, and what you're about to see is a videotape of a fundraising meeting that we held at the Vancouver Public Library on September the 30th at 7 p.m. This fundraising occasion was to help to pay for the costs of Doug Collins' judicial review of the Human Rights Tribunal, which found him at fault for expressing his opinions in columns in the North Shore News. This videotape should be, for any right-thinking person, a shocking demonstration of mob rule and the dangers of allowing the suppression of freedom of expression. What in effect is happening in this videotape is an orchestrated demonstration, basically of left-wing, communist, NDP, and affiliated groups. Their objective is to shut down the meeting, and I think, although the police did everything they thought was necessary, they effectively, the mob ruled the streets of Vancouver. This type of behavior, if it continues, I hope you will realize, will mean the end of democracy itself. I hope you will also take the time to look carefully at what was said by myself, by Doug Collins, and by Paul Fromm in this videotape, in spite of all the noise and all the attempts at disruption. And think about what's being lost when freedom of speech is suppressed. I'm going to ask you to consider the impact of this type of mob psychology on any meeting you might want to attend, whether you're Reform, Liberal, Conservative, whether you're a religious person or a non-religious person, whatever type of expression you may want to have. How would you like to have your meeting treated this way? What does it mean to you that freedom of speech is oppressed and this type of behavior is tolerated? Does it have any bearing on your life? Do you care about this? I think what this videotape will do is challenge you to decide whether you stand with us for freedom of speech or with the mob who seeks to suppress it. One thing you should remember, part of the mob, part of the activities of the mob, was subsidized by the Attorney General's office. That's right. Some of the money given to CARES was used to participate in this event. CARES received approximately $700,000 in the last 6 years or so from the provincial government of British Columbia. I listened as Alan Dutton, outside the door to the meeting room, tried to persuade Kathleen Barber not to allow the meeting to go ahead. This type of intimidation tactic will eventually drive not only Doug Collins, Doug Christie, and anybody else who stands for freedom of speech for, quote, right-wing causes, close quote, off the scene. It will gradually eliminate anybody but the NDP Communist Alliance that organized this demonstration. Much as they may protest, that's a reality I think you should consider. I hope you'll give it serious consideration, and let me know whether you understand what I'm saying and what you think about it. There's an address where you can reach us that's available through this videotape. Thank you very much. I hope these next few moments wake you up.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone else is going to be vacating the library. We ask you to move to south doors, please. The doors are outside the present law. They'll be locked up by the time this way. Yeah.
I'll stay right here. You've got a few.
How's it going? Having a good day? Yeah, that's good. All right.
Yeah, I have to go.
That's right. Yeah, you're there, motherfucker.
Sind die Übersicht alle ein bisschen mehr Lob, dass sie Sport betreiben.
Hey Paul, is this one of your Nazi doughboys here?
Yeah, it's
He's taking my picture, eh?
He's on a steady diet.
Gonna send him out later to people's houses?
Steady diet and nothing. Boy, the air stinks in here. Woo, man, I gotta have a mask.
They're all fat fucks like you. Fucking useless tubs of shit. Got no fucking jobs, useless tubs of shit like you. Take a look at it. That's a fucking enemy right there.
Hold on. Now do it.
Fucking enemy right there.
That's not bad.
When you got a gun pointed back in your face. You're all
Oh, you have to do it with a mean face.
What is this?
Even though they're soy out.
What's the name?
Excuse me, are you Doug Christie? Excuse me, are you Doug Christie? You're not sure, or you're not capable of answering, or what?
Okay.
You're just gonna ignore me?
Go back to Europe.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, your family must have come over from Europe at some point, I assume. So I was just wondering, like, your anti-immigration ideas, do you make some sort of distinction, like, between European immigrants and those from other countries, or would you prefer that all Europeans left North America? exercise that right of freedom of speech. Yeah, it is. It is.
They locked the doors, and so we said, fine, we're in. So as usual, police give us no choice but to smash the Nazis, which is what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a silly debate about a door. We're going to stop fascism. So that's the thing. So everybody, it was like down at the end and down at the other end, we should get together and proceed to make this meeting not happen.
And stamp. Thank you. And stamp. Got one? Thank you.
Okay, they just made an announcement that they said that if we continue to block access here and not let anybody in to the meeting, to the talk, that they're going to start removing us.
We'll lock the doors and not allow anybody else in, and then we'll be removed only one at a time.
Trying to get in?
My preference is to
Stop the meeting.
You will not stop me from this.
He pushed right through
Democratic
me.
right to get through, okay?
It's my democratic right to be here.
You're just as bad
It's
as
my democratic right to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I tried to explain, it's a public safety issue as well, all right? We can't be blocking aisles and stairs. That's simple.
Going on night. Pretty good.
Everybody got their cards?
The Nazi stars are saying,
Any discount ticket? Any ticket discount? Well, they're not selling so well. It means if I got $1.57 when I did
silence. This woman is attending the Christie talk to hear her speak, and just has something to say to the officer. She came through here without being touched or bothered by anybody. There was no violence on our behalf at all, and I just that's right. That's right. What happened?
That's a true statement. I just
So
came by and,
if you could just hear what
and I wish peace for everyone. No one touched me.
she had
Yep, we'll lock it up from down there.
I would like to explain that Inspector Jones asked the opportunity to speak to us tonight about our duties, and I'm very grateful for in doing so to explain to us our mutual responsibilities for mutual respect. I'd like to call on Inspector Jones, please.
Clarify that I hope that everybody in this building shares a common interest tonight, and that interest is that we have a peaceful event, that people express their views, and those who wish to listen, those who wish to speak, and that it remain at that level, that we all want to go home tonight and get a good night's sleep and not have lawyers to phone in the course of the evening and court appearances to make in the morning. So that's the same message that I am giving upstairs, and I trust that if not everybody in here is of a like mind, that we all respect each other. Thank you.
I don't think the Inspector Jones was intending to answer questions, but I wanted to answer one myself. My first duty is to explain who I am. My name is Christie. I'm a lawyer, and I thought it might be appropriate to say that I heard a good joke about lawyers just recently. Somebody asked, why do they bury lawyers 12 feet down? And the answer was because they know that deep down they're really good people. As a matter of fact, another joke about lawyers I thought was kind of good was what I heard recently in another country, and I was told that this gentleman phoned up his lawyer, and he was talking to the receptionist, and the receptionist said, what can I do for you, sir? And the client said, I'd like to talk to my lawyer, Mr. Jones. And the secretary said, I'm sorry, sir, Mr. Jones has died. And so the gentleman said, oh, and hung up. And he phoned back in 5 minutes. He said, I'd like to talk to my lawyer, Mr. Jones. And the secretary said, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones is dead. And when she hung up, she thought, that's funny, I thought I just talked to that guy. And so after that conversation, 5 minutes go by, and the gentleman phones again. And this time he says, I'd like to talk to lawyer Jones, please. And at that point the receptionist said, listen, you phoned twice. I think this is the third time. I've told you lawyer Jones is dead. What do you want from me? And he said, I just want to hear it one more time. And I thought it wouldn't do any harm, since we're all under a lot of stress tonight, to get one more lawyer joke, because, you know, at least we can make jokes about lawyers. At least I think you can make jokes about lawyers. We'll find out in the morning, maybe. But this fellow was in a bar, and you know how guys in a bar are. Every 5 minutes he stood up and screamed at the top of his lungs, all lawyers are idiots. And everybody paid attention for that long, you know, and as soon as that was quieted down, they figured that's just somebody's expression of opinion, and went on tolerating it, went on to drinking, and 5 minutes later, the same guy stood up and said, all lawyers are idiots. And it got to be kind of a nuisance, so the bartender said, look, please, is there any need for this? He said, well, look, I'm just expressing myself. So 5 minutes later, the same fellow jumps up and says, all lawyers are idiots. And so shortly after that, a great huge guy comes over. He taps him on the shoulder. He says, listen, pal, I've heard you say that 3 times. Lawyers are idiots. And I find that extremely offensive. And I don't want to hear you say that one more time. And the guy says, what's the matter, pal? Are you a lawyer? He says, no, I'm an idiot. Well, I liked it anyway. We're witnessing the NDP's attitude to free speech tonight.
This is the NDP's attitude towards free speech, sir.
I think it is.
Individual consciences.
Oh yeah, it seems like they're not too individual. They're kind of organized in a typical NDP.
No, we just came down here ourselves, actually. We were about to go to school.
Well, I hope you'll permit me the opportunity of explaining what we're doing here.
Sure, everybody's got the right to free speech.
This is a meeting to explain.
Not you.
Oh, I know. I'm just talking about free speech. It's a matter of free speech.
Go out.
This is a free speech meeting, is it not?
Don't pay any attention.
Freedom of expression.
We'll deal with that.
Don't worry, we're all freedom of expression.
We know what they're going to do. We know what they're here for. The purpose.
What are we here for, sir?
You're here to interrupt the meeting. And I'm going to ask you to do one thing. I'm going to ask you to wait for a question period before you interrupt. Okay?
I'm just expressing myself, sir.
Yeah, I understand that.
Just like you're expressing
You
yourself.
need a little order, and we paid for the hall, so we'd like the opportunity.
I paid to get in here, sir.
Yeah.
Bullshit! Keep quiet!
The fact is that you're interrupting the meeting, and you know what you're trying to do. Now, I'd like to suggest to everyone in the
I was just
meeting
making a comment.
that they know what they're doing, and if you shout at them, they've succeeded. So don't do it. Don't respond.
It's not
to
them, I'm
heckling.
down here as an individual.
Yeah, you're here to heckle. So you're doing your job. And
No,
what
I'm just
trying
here to ask
do-
a few questions.
What I'm trying to do is explain why we're having this meeting. And the purpose of this meeting is to explain the dangers to the attack on free speech that's happening through the NDP's legislation, which at the present time makes it illegal to express opinion. We have here tonight a copy of the legislation, Section 7, for those of you who want a copy. We also have a small brochure that explains how you can support Mr. Collins' constitutional challenge.
Remember, illegal to express opinions.
And we are actually, at this same moment...
Is that what you're protesting, the illegality of protesting opinions? Fuck up! Illegality of protesting opinions.
Be quiet.
Yeah, I think that...
I'm not allowed to express my opinion then.
Well, you have...
Is that what you're saying?
Express your opinion. Protect the right to this meeting.
Go ahead, keep talking. I'll
I'll
figure it
ask
out.
you to keep quiet until we finish the speech. We know what you're here to do.
No, I'm just talking. It's
Well,
free speech. I'm
would you mind,
expressing myself.
yeah, would you mind being quiet long enough?
That's what this meeting's about, isn't it?
Would you let us...
It's about expression.
Yeah, it is. We need to do what we came here to do.
And I'm having an opportunity to do what I came here to do. Express myself.
Actually, tonight, there's a meeting going on at Simon Fraser, at which there will be a speech by Mr. Sharp. Mr. Sharp is the person who was charged with importing pedophile pornography. And he is allowed to have a meeting and speak at a publicly funded event subsidized by the British Columbia Council and the Canada Council at a publicly funded university. We are not allowed to have a meeting on the subject of freedom of speech without what's going on here. This has become clearly
I'm not allowed to
an
say my
NDP heckling operation,
Part of my military
an
service is
NDP,
my expression.
an NDP denial of freedom
And
of
I'm not an
expression.
NDP here. I'm just a concerned citizen in my country.
Robin Sharp can have a public meeting at which he expresses his views, and we support the right of Robin Sharp to have that meeting and to speak his mind. We think that there is
On the lower level, we would ask floor wardens on the lower level and level 2, that is the lower level and level 2, please evacuate your personnel to the outside of the building. All other floors, 3 through 7, stand by. I repeat, if you're experiencing events on the lower level, we would ask all personnel on the lower level and level 2 evacuate the building. Floor wardens, be advised, evacuation should take place through stairs 9, 7, and 8.
Meeting rooms, I'm just going to find out, and then after that we'll evacuate. There's no sense of urgency right now.
How can you be so sure at this event at University there isn't a type of rally going on?
I would
Really?
just, I don't know that. I
You
don't
don't know that.
But I'll bet you $100 that their event's not canceled. I bet you.
Your event,
Your event's not canceled either.
You're interrupting it.
I'm asking inquisitive questions. I'm sure we cannot.
Your attention, please.
Of course, I'm
We
against.
are experiencing an event on the lower level. We would ask all floor wardens to evacuate their personnel from level 2 and lower level to the outside of the building immediately. I repeat, lower level and level 2, evacuate all personnel to the outside of the building using stairs 7, 8, and 9. Repeat, 7, 8, and 9.
Excuse me, if I just may continue, is that there may very
We were going to have a question period at the end of the speech as we normally do. Do you mind waiting until then? Okay.
I just thought it was.
Well, I don't mind the fact myself, but it's hardly possible to have a meeting if everybody asks a question in the middle of it.
Well, it's hard to ask.
Yeah, I know it is. We're all experiencing the same frustration. Now,
Frustration? What's frustration? What are you frustrated about?
you,
Frustrated about me?
yeah, you know why. Because you're constantly interrupting.
Sorry? Expressing myself. The meeting's about expression.
No, it's about the subject of attacks on freedom of speech and management by the law.
I challenge you to give a my freedom of speech during this meeting. Go ahead. I'm expressing myself.
We didn't.
So did I. I paid to see him today. I paid to take part in this.
Well, I'll tell you something. We have no intention of attacking anybody. We're here to defend freedom of speech, and the purpose of the Canada Free Speech is to do just
Come on,
that.
people, aren't you going to let me
There are
express
copies of the
myself?
Friends of Freedom newsletter at the front.
Let me
If
express
you want to
myself.
take copies, you're welcome
If
to.
that's what you're interested in.
The meeting is about the judicial review that's underway in the Supreme Court of British Columbia. There are copies of the legislation available. The judicial review is going to be heard as to an attempt to strike it out on October the 18th and 19th in the city of Victoria in the Supreme Court building. We're here to raise funds for the one man who stands up for freedom of expression in this country, for Doug Collins. I now call on Doug Collins to speak.